Hello everybody, hi Year 2s, welcome to today's topic lesson. So today's topic lesson we are going to be learning about the Titanic. If you haven't done so already, watch the Titanic video that the link is on your home learning timetable for today. So pause the video, watch the video that's on YouTube and then come back to my video, okay? Okay, welcome back then. So today we're learning all about the Titanic and our learning intention is to retell the story of the Titanic. So I'm going to take you through the different stages, the different years and times of what happened to the Titanic. And you're going to then, your task at the end is to retell the story of the Titanic. You can draw some pictures and some sentences to go with your pictures, okay? So, the Titanic was built between 1908 and 1909. It was the largest passenger steamship in the world at the time. And it was built in Belfast in Ireland, so not too far away from where we are. So it was ready for its maiden voyage. That means maiden means its first voyage. It was ready April the 10th in 1912. And at 11:30 in the morning, passengers arrived in Southampton in the UK. They were really excited to board, to get onto the ship. And the Titanic set off carrying 2,223 people. So a lot of people on that ship. And it was its first ever journey with passengers. So on April the 14th in 1912, so only 4 days after it had set off, at 11:40 in the evening, there were lookouts at the top of the ship, and they had to stay there all the time to look out for any other ships or anything that might be in its way. And the lookouts saw an iceberg right ahead of them, dead ahead. And they informed the captain straight away as soon as they saw it, and the Titanic tried to steer around it. So it tried to steer around the iceberg, which the iceberg is a big, big lump of ice, huge lump of ice in the ocean. So the Titanic tried to steer around it, but unfortunately didn't quite miss it. It hit it on its right-hand side. And then at 11:50, so 10 minutes later, water was pouring in and had risen extremely quickly in the front part of the ship. And then very early on April the 15th, 1912, at 12 midnight, so that is just over 20 minutes after it hit the iceberg, the captain is told that the ship can only stay afloat for a couple of hours. So he gives the order to call for help over the radio. So he calls for any other ships in the area to come and help, okay? Because the ship will only stay afloat for another couple of hours. At 5 minutes past 12, so 5 minutes later, lifeboats are uncovered and passengers and crew get ready on deck. But unfortunately, there was only enough room for half of the people on board to go in the lifeboats. There was not enough lifeboats on the Titanic for every person that was on it to get on a lifeboat. So when they started boarding the lifeboats, they decided, because there wasn't enough for everybody, they decided, the staff said that women and children would go on the lifeboats first. Okay, so they started getting on at 12:25 a.m. So that was still middle of the night. And then another ship called the Carpathia picks up the call that the captain made, and it was about 58 miles away. So quite far away. It wasn't close. 58 miles is a long way, but they heard the message and they set sail as quickly as possible to help them. But it was going to take them a while to get there. They wouldn't be able to get there straight away. And remember, they only had a couple of hours left until the ship went down. So at 12:45, 20 minutes later, the first lifeboat was lowered into the water. But it wasn't even half full, so there wasn't enough lifeboats anyway. But then when they were putting the people on them, they weren't even half full. They just wanted to get them out quickly. So that was not very good, not filling the lifeboats. And at the same time, the first of 8 distress rockets were fired into the air. So they're like flares that they fire up in the air just to see if anyone else is around that can come and help them, and it lets them know that they're in danger. Okay, then at 2:05, the last lifeboat is lowered into the water. But unfortunately, there were still over 1,500 people stranded on the ship, on the Titanic. The Titanic's deck, the top part of the ship, becomes steeper and the rear of the ship breaks off. So it went like this. The front part of the ship went up and then it broke in two with all those people still on it. Very, very sad. And then 15 minutes later, the remaining ship levels out for a few moments. It sort of comes back to level out before slowly filling with more water. And the water pulls the ship back high into the air before pulling it under. Remaining passengers that are stranded in the icy waters, most of them are unable to be saved. So some people fell into the water, and it was so cold, and there wasn't anyone there. There was no more lifeboats for them to get on. They just had to stay in the water, and it was so cold, and they were there for so long, they couldn't be saved. So it's really, really tragic story. Then at 8:50, so it took the Carpathia a long time, from sort of 12:30 midnight to nearly 9 o'clock in the morning, so almost 9 hours, to finally get to the Titanic. And it travels away from any remaining wreckage and it makes its way to New York. So that's when it started going back to New York. And they did manage to save some people, but it wasn't enough. There was still lots of people that lost their lives. So they saved 705 passengers and crew, but there was unfortunately lots of people that they couldn't save. So your task is to retell that story of the Titanic using your own words and your own pictures. If you want, you can go back in this video that I've been playing to any part, so the beginning part or what happened next. You can go back, you can pause the video there, you can use those pictures to help you. So I want you to do it in order. So the very first box is going to be about when the Titanic was built, maybe where it was built. And then the very last box is going to be the bit where the Carpathia ship was managed to save some passengers and crew. Okay. And underneath that, there are some keywords that you could use in your retelling. Okay. So good luck, and I will see you soon. And remember, don't forget to show your work onto Padlet or send it via email. I would love to see it. Okay. Good luck.